I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
So let's talk about Jay-Z's angle here. This wasn't just some random real estate deal he was dipping his toes into. Oh no, darling. This was Jay-Z going all in on the biggest gamble of his business career. The pitch? A $5.4 billion casino built right in Times Square. But Jay-Z wasn't selling it as just a gambling den with slot machines dinging away. No, he wrapped it up in that signature Rock Nation flair. He promised a cultural hub, a nightlife paradise that blended Broadway, music, and luxury entertainment all under one dazzling roof. Jay-Z wanted this to be more than just poker tables and roulette wheels. He was talking about live shows infused with his brand of hip-hop energy, exclusive celebrity appearances, high-end dining experiences, and, of course, VIP suites for the rich, the famous, and the powerful. Basically, he was pitching a Vegas meets New York fantasy, with himself as the face of it all. And let's be real, when Jay-Z gets behind a project, people listen. This is the man who turned rap into billions, who made champagne and sneakers into luxury brands, and who's married to Beyonce.
At the end of the day, it's business. I don't think any of that matters. He made a lot of money doing music about drug dealing. He basically based his entire image on being a drug kingpin. Whether that was true or not a long time ago, it doesn't matter. It's a part of your image. It's really hard to say someone like that should be the face of anything. Also, Rock Nation doesn't have a history long enough of running successful hotels or clubs or doing any business besides hosting concerts and venues to show that they would even know how to manage and run a casino. As far as I can tell, Jay-Z's not super outgoing, super personable. And in these types of spaces, you're going to have to get along with other people. You got to learn how to shake hands. But it's very difficult doing business with blacks because they always enter into every situation as being a victim. They feel slighted. They feel less than. They're very insecure about their appearance and their looks. So no matter what occurs for any reason, it could be over a parking space. Oh, that's racist. Oh, that's racism. Oh, that's oppression. Oh, woe is me. People don't care about that no more. People are done being guilted into submission by claims of racism. That's out. So you can't really expect to stand on that whole I'm a victim racist stuff anymore. Now you're going to have to come in with merits. You're going to have to come in with proof that you know what you're talking about. Making a lot of money in one industry does not mean you are prepared to handle another. This type of industry in Times Square would mean that you're going to have to deal with other businesses and there's other players. There's already money in these areas. You're not going and building a casino where there's nothing there. There's already traffic and business and people already there. So you're going to bring more people to a place that's already congested, more traffic to a place that's already busting, and they can't even fit enough people as is. It's business. And you're not going to always hear yes in business, especially when your business is going to come down to a panel of people that can say no. Broadway, even though it's been failing since the lockdowns because they played into all the Democrat COVID nonsense, it hasn't really recovered. But even if it doesn't fully recover, it's also a part of New York's history. It's a staple. It's been there forever. Anything that inadvertently will negatively possibly affect the theater district or Broadway cannot be allowed. There's a lot of old money and there's also people there who deal with each other. I doubt Jay-Z went to these people individually. As far as his history, probably tried to strong on them. and make it so or a get down or lay down situation. And this is not the movie Casino. That's not how it works. I see a lot of people actually making fun of Jay-Z because it didn't go well. This is the one thing I didn't like.
Because what you did, the benefits you denied this community, and this.
Stop right there. What do you mean the benefits these people denied this community? It's fucking Times Square. What community are you saying they denied? What community lives in Times Square? Are you going to pretend that Jay-Z's community, the black community, they're impoverished because they don't got a casino? Get the fuck out of here. Do you know how pathetic and embarrassing this is? Whoever this is a representative for Jay-Z, he's cooked. This was an embarrassment. If you lose in business, you don't cry and kick. You dust yourself off, you go back to the drawing board, you regroup, and in however many years or however long it takes, then you return and you bring a better offer and you create alliances. You don't sit here and pout like a bitch and cry while people are walking out and you're basically trying to shame them into feeling sorry for you enough that they change their mind. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how pathetic and embarrassing this is right here? Look at this. Look at him grovel. Fucking pathetic.
Indian state. You have to live with that history forever.
Jay-Z wanted to build a casino in the heart of Times Square. A bold partnership with Caesars and SL Green aimed to turn 1515 Broadway into an entertainment and nightlife hub. But this week, a state board said no, rejecting the bid in a 4-2 vote. The CEO of SL Green lashed out, calling the rejection a missed opportunity for community investment. Roc Nation CEO Des Perez echoed the frustration.
Desi Perez is not only a federal informant, a snitch, she's also have been in the news recently for tormenting her daughter and her husband, having him arrested, having her thrown in a psychiatric hospital. And also she did go to prison. And also she was aligned with drug dealers who she had to send to prison. She's also a drug dealer. So you have Jay-Z drug dealer, Desi Perez drug dealer. None of this is above board. All of this is just a joke.
Saying some politicians lack the courage to invest in New York City's future. 6 people made this billion-dollar call. Let that sink in. When we talk about the power of politics, it's not just the White House. Local boards shape the cities we live in. Voting local matters. Broadway's audiences are aging, and tourism patterns are shifting. And the question...
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing? Know that it is like a Grand Theft Auto 2000, the year 2054, Terminator, and Run for Your Life. I know what your mom did last summer. If you are trying to catch a train out of not Grand Central Station, out of Madison Square Garden at the Amtrak stop, if you're trying to catch a train out of New York City, you already know it is literally like 28 days later and The Walking Dead. Why would you add a casino in there? I don't care what anybody says. There's not been a community on earth that has benefited from a casino. The stats are there. That's why every city, if it is thriving or if it has a vibrant thing, it's like, no, that is usually got to go on the outskirts. Even then, because it brings in drug addiction. It brings in prostituting. It brings in a level of organized crime. It brings in a lot of stuff. Casinos, a lot of people say not all money is good money. However, shut it back because one, I don't live in that neighborhood. The neighborhood was in the comments like, no. Gangbanging in the comments like, no, what are you talking about? We don't need this. We don't want this.
Yeah, she's saying the same thing. They don't want it in their neighborhood. There was no need for it. Put it somewhere else. I'm sure Jay-Z could propose this anywhere else and it would probably work. But in Times Square, which is already congested, people piled up. But also New York is a failing city. A lot of the most successful people and the clientele you would want, they've already evacuated. New York is like Los Angeles. They're very low on police. Democrat policies. They have squatters everywhere. So people are really, it doesn't even make money to do business in New York because they can't stop crime when people who are doing business are robbed and killed in New York. There's really nothing you can do. So it's kind of like opening up a brand new business in Los Angeles right now, which would make no sense. Jay-Z, but you have to give him credit. At least he tried. But the whole groveling and all that crying and all that, like, I don't know who his representative was or why he allowed him to do that, but that's just embarrassing.
You know it. We met the standard and then some, and the only one with courage to stand up is the governor and the mayor appointees, and everybody else runs and hides. Go run and hide. Because
Now, what he just did was he burnt his bridges. There is no going back to them after this little show you just put on here. Knowing there are cameras running, knowing people are going to judge you and look at you later, they're going to say he's not a person looking to do business. He's a crybaby. Any person, when you hear no, you find out why they said no, you go back to the drawing board, you see what you can fix. Nothing. It's rare that anything ever goes through on the first try or when you first ask. It takes time. I remember when the guys who owned the clubs that we used to all do work at in LA, he wanted to do a casino in Vegas. Now he had the best, the biggest, and the best nightclubs in LA for 10 years. And they still gave him a hard time about getting a license to do a casino in Las Vegas. And guess what? All that hard work just to get a casino in Vegas, and now look, Vegas is failing. Casinos are failing. Spending, for one thing, everyone's figured out that casinos are a scam. You're not going to get rich there. So really what you're doing is you're spending excess money to have a short-term adrenaline rush, and you get a good feeling short-term, but then you lose. No one walks out of there in the positive. It's very rare. So you're basically spending money you don't have in an economy where it's really not going to be a bright idea to be frivolous with income. So casinos aren't really even a good investment anymore. They also bring more crime, more issues. Look at Las Vegas. Look at the Strip. Look at Fremont. Look at the element that comes with having casinos. There's no bright side. Think about it. There's not one city that legalized marijuana that's actually better off now than they were before it was legalized. Certain things are banned for a reason. There is not a net positive. You think you're going to be hiring people and there's going to be money coming in and doing, that's not the case. Because what if people don't go? What if people don't want to go spend money there? What if it's not really appealing and then these casinos start to fail, and when the casinos start going down, then the area goes down even further? They were better off keeping their identity. If they're known for doing shows on Broadway, they're better off doing shows on Broadway. The reason I wanted to do this episode is just so I can show you just how pathetic this representative is for just sitting there crying and all the things he's saying. It's just it's unbecoming, and he should be ashamed.
what you did, the benefits you denied this community and this city and state.
Everyone's walking past him because no one respects him for groveling. You're supposed to lick your wounds. You never let anyone know. You never let them know what makes you sweat. You smile, you walk it off, you keep pushing. You don't sit there and cry and Jesus Christ. I mean, he did everything but play the race card.
You have to live with that history forever.
It looks like he's under a lot of pressure. And he really thought he was probably going to be able to convince these people to work with him. But he should have known he couldn't. It seems like he probably took a lot of upfront money and he overpromised and underdelivered. And now he's going to be held accountable or held to pay. They're going to want their money back. They're not going to be able to get their time back. And this whole project now it's completely poisoned. The whole idea is soured because of this one interaction. All of this could have been kept quiet. They could have turned them down in secret. No one would have known the wiser. You never count your eggs before they hatch. He could have just came back and tried again later, or tried another angle, or tried another location. But this is a stain. And it was just completely unnecessary. But again, I see people criticizing him and making fun of him, but at least, the thing is, at least he tried. At least he tried. Everything's not going to work. It's not going to always be a yes. Everything's not going to be a slam dunk. all money isn't good money. And these people, sometimes they don't need your money. They don't need it. They have things going on. They're good. They kind of like things the way they are. They don't want to rattle the cages. And also, depending on who these people are coming in that you're going to do business with, they might not be trustworthy. They're not. Everyone doesn't want to work with certain people. You can't. They have a history of being untrustworthy. They have a history of being unreliable. And they have a history of being professional victims. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to work with victims. No one wants to hire victims. No one wants to employ victims. And now, across the board throughout the country, people are getting rid of their victims. Whoever's getting fired the most right now, that's who I'm talking about. Those are the victims. No one wants to work with them for a good reason. It comes back to bite you in the end. If you marry a certain woman and she's from a victim background, not soon before long, she will be divorcing you and suing you. And guess what she's going to claim? Victimhood. You victimized her. You abused her. You this, you that. The same thing they're doing now when they don't get their way. Look at this is the guy right here.
Residents from Manhattan Plaza to Midtown, even small businesses, around emailing, calling us, over 1,000 emails and phone calls saying they did not want this to be the economic driver in our district. Overwhelmingly, from residents from Manhattan Plaza to Midtown, even small businesses, around emailing, calling us, over 1,000 emails and phone calls saying they did not want this to be the economic driver in our district.
Now, don't get me wrong. It could have worked. The problem is you got to look at the person behind it. People are done. The country is tired. They don't want to work with certain people anymore. And if you go into business with them, you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. Tasha K have a breakdown, but I mean, I don't like her tone per se, because you have to give him credit for even trying to do it. This was a big deal. But it's not, everything's not going to go your way. You can't expect it to. But I don't like the gloating about how happy people are that he failed when it comes to this. But he's done better in other things. But I'll let her talk.
Fresh in off the press. Did I talk them crackers was not gonna get Jay-Z no damn casino in New York City? This man would have took a loan against his house because they wouldn't even give him a loan to go and put a bid in on the casino, because he had the owner of Caesar's Palace, and then he had an ex-federal informant and Montage bitch down there trying to put a bid on the casino to bring it to Broadway. And them said this morning in a 4-2 vote against him this, and look at his business partner, because Jay-Z couldn't show up in that room with all these white people asking for the casino with no dress, and then a Latina lady that was just pardoned by Trump. You know what I'm saying? And used to be a federal informant because she was part of the cartel. You know what I'm saying? And so these two thugs, okay? Because yes, he's a thug. I don't give a damn. He's a thug, okay? Wanted to bring.
She's I don't like her. Her delivery might not be the best, but Tasha K is right. He branded himself as a thug that dresses himself up now. He's a drug dealer that became a CEO. That is all a part of your history. When you're looking to give somebody a casino in a city like New York, you're going to go through everything. He should have literally played in the background, found a representative to represent him that's a clean-cut person, and sent them in. His name shouldn't have been there. His name does not hold the kind of weight that a casino would require. That reminds me back when Snoop Dogg was talking about he wants to open a casino. You're not the type of person that they would allow to open up a casino. Even Jay-Z's nightclub, the 740 Club, it failed. It didn't do well for very long, and there was a lot of problems. They're not good at managing. Desiree Perez she's involved in so many scandals. And just because you're married to Beyonce, who's actually an aged out musician, who is now, they're saying that they're having a lot of financial issues. Well, you got to think about it. These people have a lot of expenses too, but you're not generating the same income. She just went on tour, but how long does that money last? When you have expenses in the millions per month, you burn through money like it has gasoline on it. And then you're in a situation like Tasha K is describing now, that banks didn't want to give him money. They didn't want to give him a loan. He had to borrow a loan against his house. They look at your financials. They see how stable you are. They want to know if the casino doesn't make money for 5 years, will the door still stay open, or will you be insolvent within 6 months? There are questions that are bigger than, are you famous or not? Do you have money? These are deeper questions than that. And, again, so many things have been failing lately. It's too much of a risk. A casino, it's a risk. Because once people lose their money, why would they want to keep going there? I mean, Vegas, look at Vegas as a perfect example. And do these people in New York want their city to turn into a miniature Las Vegas? Fuck no.
Sex, drugs, and money to their city. Okay, and Atlantic City is down the street. But look where Jay-Z, he couldn't even get into the room. Look at who he got in the room with the money he borrowed and got from him and Beyonce's house. Go ahead.
You know it. We met the standard and then some. And the only one with courage to stand up is the governor and the mayor appointees. And everybody else runs and hides. Go.
He promised Jay-Z and Desiree Perez that they was finna get a casino. But there are two ex-drug dealers. Now, y'all can sit here and say, Tasha, Jay-Z got money. Jay-Z took the easy way in life by selling dope to his own community to get ahead. And if this is what you call the American dream, hey, so be it. If this is what you call noble, all because he's married to Beyonce and he's a billionaire, how many lives did he have to take to become a billionaire? Does he look like the type of guy that'll give a damn? Remember that school that he said he was going to offer free tuition to? And the students are coming out right now saying that they are left with bills, and these are Black students that were under the impression that Jay-Z and Roc Nation was going to cover their tuition after they solicited them, all because they're trying to gain press. He does this shit all the time. Tries to gain press from the Black community on how much he's going to help, and instead it's only to fill his pockets. Who wants a nasty, smoky-ass casino down there with women in there selling coochie, and they selling dope up in there and beating up whoever they trying to beat up by bankrupting people, all because they're trying to be greedy? Give it down what nobody say. I'm glad them white folks ain't give it to him. He needs to be somewhere at a tech table developing technologies to help get people off fentanyl and all this stuff that he used to say. Man, get the out of here. I don't give a damn what nobody say. He got that white man down there about to have a heart attack because he done took his money. Because, he got paid to do that deal.
I haven't seen this part of her interview. I just seen that she was talking about him. I said the same thing. The way that dude crashed out at his big age was the way someone crashed out when they are in trouble. They are in trouble. He took way too much money up front, and he overpromised, he underdelivered, and people are going to want that money back. But now his reputation is shot. His face is shot. His name is shot. That, for one thing, that outburst right there, he knew it was going to be on video. He wants Jay-Z to see it so he can make it seem like I was fighting for you. Maybe Jay-Z would give him a break. Maybe him and Rosie or Desi, whatever the fuck that Perez name is, maybe they'll give him a break and they'll cut him some slack because they saw that he was in there fighting. But at what cost? You literally just embarrass yourself. And now other people aren't going to even want to work with you. I wouldn't want to work with somebody that pathetic. But that just means that he was literally overextended on this project representing Jay-Z. And he was the wrong person for the job. This is something that you have a committee for. You have a board of directors. You don't have one main person and then his staff. You have to hide behind other people and their credentials. You have to hide behind their success and their experience. For example, I'm a builder. If I'm coming on with a new project, but I don't have any experience, I have to work with other builders and contractors who have experience. And then their resume combined with mine will now give the bank a little bit more faith that we're going to be able to get the job done in this amount of time, and we're going to know what to do with the draws that come out, etc. Jay-Z didn't provide any of that. There's no history of him ever running a casino or a hotel. that is still up and running, that is actually successful, that they can say, look, this is our books, this is our experience, these are the people we're going to work with. I didn't see any of that. I seen one man in there who's apparently representing everyone. And I seen him crying and groveling. He didn't even know that you're going to need to talk to these people again so you can retry. Nothing's ever just blown up and thrown out the window, just a complete over. No means no, but there's always a chance you can do something later. But now that's out. That's over. Like, no one's going to want to work with somebody that damn sad that they're screaming and crying like that. Are you kidding me? And again, she said Jay-Z couldn't even go. He wasn't even there. He doesn't have the look. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it.
He had to pay to do that deal. And it's a shame that the same white folks that claim he a billionaire wouldn't give him no money to solidify this deal. So he had to borrow against his house just to pay him. And now he got to go back and tell Jay-Z and Desiree he ain't got it. But he gonna keep the money though.
Oh yeah, he went out there, he tried. He just burnt his name in the city. He's definitely keeping the money. That's why he had to go all out, because they're going to be like, why didn't you say nothing? Why didn't you fight? Why didn't you yell and scream? I would have flipped tape. So he had to make a scene, and he did. So basically, they got their money's worth. Even though it didn't go through, he did put on a show at the very end that's going viral.
Nobody want no damn casino. They don't want no strip clubs. They don't want no smoke shops. They don't want none of that in their neighborhood. And New York don't need none of that. Why? They got Atlantic City on the water 1 hour away. And you know.
That's true. Why would you need a casino? That's like putting a casino in Las Vegas and then putting another casino at the border of Nevada. And that's why Buffalo Bills and all that stuff is sinking and tanking. You're diluting the market, and then there isn't really a market for that everywhere. Casinos work in certain environments, in certain places, but nowadays they're kind of being phased out because gambling is now legal. Depending on what state you're in, you can pull out your phone. You got FanDuels, you got DraftKings, and you can bet and you can gamble. You don't need to go to Vegas. If you want to get your kicks, you want to get that adrenaline rush, that dopamine rush, you can just do it on your phone now. You don't have to go to a casino and pay for an overpriced room with what do they call them? Not a luxury fee, but there's a resort fee plus parking, plus they're nickel and diming you to death. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. And if you're trying to open up something new in an area, why not be innovative? Why not be creative? Why not come with something unique? Why would you go to something that's so burnt out like a casino? Like she said, they don't want smoke shops in Times Square. They don't want strip clubs in Times Square. That same proposal they made for this casino was the same proposal they would have made for a very high-end luxury strip club. There's going to be celebrities. There's going to be the best food. There's going to be people coming in there, and there's going to be spending monies. You could have made literally the same case for a high-end strip club. The casino was basically the same proposal, a high-end strip club with the same people right behind it. 2 ex-drug dealers trying to open up a high-end casino or a high-end strip club. Same goddamn. It would have been the same playbook, same thing. Unnecessary. And it's redundant. You can go to Atlantic City an hour away, and they have, and is Atlantic City a booming economy because of the casinos? Fuck no, that place is trash. It's trash. Vegas is trash. The only place with casinos in the United States right now that I can say is not trash besides Biloxi is Scottsdale. And that's just because Scottsdale is known for being clean, and they don't play with the element. They don't. So, again, they didn't want it in New York. At least he tried. But he would have been, in my opinion, maybe trying something that's a little bit more unique and catering to a different audience, catering to your audience. I don't think his audience is the casino crowd. Everyone knows who Jay-Z is. I don't think they listen to his music. The casinos are mainly a bunch of elderly people. People from casinos, people that fill up casinos, or they get bussed in from senior daycares and assisted living facilities. That's their bread and butter, is seniors. Matter of fact, I was at a casino today shooting dice, and I won some money. I pretty much broke even, but I'm sitting there and I'm looking. Everyone in there was 70, 80 years old. There was nobody remotely close to my age, within 40 years of my age. They're for older people. Those are the people that hang out. They hang out at the casinos. They get a check, and they budget out $300-400, and they go play $100 a week. They go once a week from their center just to get them out of the house. They walk around, gives them some exercise. But is this just a destination people just want to go and spend money and throw money? No. There's too much negative stuff that comes along with casinos. For one thing, buying women, which is a big deal nowadays. They call it trafficking. So if you're in a casino and then a pretty girl walks by, you try to talk to her. Next thing you know, you're being accused of solicitation, of trafficking, and all types of other. It's really just too dangerous to do really anything at any of these places. That's why people go. That's why people go to other countries now, where you can still have fun and you can still live like you used to back in the early 2000s. Because now everything's on camera, everything's being enforced. You can't really do much here. Can't really do much. And this casino will just be another failed venue, empty after a while. It's not like a bunch of people in New York are just so rich because it's so cheap to live there that they have disposable income that they can just throw at the casino because their rents are so low. Yeah, that's not the case. Yes, baby. Oh, my goodness. Oh, sorry. My girl, my old lady, my little senior Butters. All right, she wants to come say hi. All right, the single boyfriend, right-wing Rico. We just did this story. I got a couple other topics to talk about tonight. But actually, it's R&B night, so I'm going out. I got to go meet someone so me and her can fall in love over again. But I'll be back in the morning with some new episodes. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe, share the video. Right-wing Rico, the single boyfriend. And I'll see you guys shortly. Say bye, bye.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.